Hey, Jesse, this is your fiance, Ashley Sleep.
Jesse, it's me, your mom.
There's so much to live for.
I mean, I didn't realize this was such an issue in our family.
Aceholes with Nikki and Caitlin.
Hello, welcome back to Aceholes podcast. I am your host, Nikki Limo, along with my co-host,
Caitlin Komeski.
We're both co-hosts, but I mean, if
you have more of a leadership role, then I think you need to own that, and you don't need to be ashamed of it. But you have more experience as a YouTuber, so I guess. But I mean, you bring a lot to the table.
Character,
good qualities.
You know what? We got a special guest in the house, and we're really excited for it. And that special guest is the one and only Jesse Sylvia. With almost $7 million in cashes.
Not net, but yeah, we'll go with.
You know what? I didn't say net.
All right, there we go.
Gross. We only deal with gross on this podcast.
With gross people.
The title makes more sense now.
Thank you for being on our show, Jesse Sylvia. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me on your show.
We're going to ask you a bunch of really casual questions that dig deep into your personal life.
Nice.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, yay. We got permission, everybody. So let's start with an easy one. How did you get into poker and when?
Ooh. All right. So, Moneymaker. It was like
Era.
the short. Yeah. I saw him on TV because that was the first year they really put it on ESPN every day.
Yeah.
And I was hanging out in my friend's basement, my friend Adam Lipsky, in high school, and we watched it, and then we immediately played poker upstairs with his dad and his little brother. And then I just went to everyone's garage or wherever they were playing poker and tried to get into every game possible.
How did you learn it? Did you just watch from the TV and pick it up?
Yeah.
Kids
Back then
so
you didn't
smart.
have a lot of resources, right? Compared to now. So yeah, it was just whatever Gus Hansen or Daniel Negreanu did. I just tried to do what they were doing. Yeah.
Because they didn't have a whole bunch of solvers and stuff like they do now.
No,
they didn't have any floptimals.
They had books. They had Doyle's book.
Did you start reading right away? Were you a serious studied player, as studied as you could be at that time with the information available from the very beginning?
I don't the first year I was in high school still, and I don't remember getting any books. And then I think one day we were at a bookstore and there was just a whole section that's chess and poker. And something connected my brain, I could totally own these books. It didn't register to me oh, you should go get some books. I don't know why that.
You just walking past it and you're like, yeah, chess and poker.
Yeah,
Did you buy chess books too?
No.
Okay.
No. I kind of wish I did now.
Yeah, I would love to hear the story of Jesse actually was pursuing chess very seriously.
Yeah.
Fell off and ended up at the final table of the WSOP.
Anybody who plays chess even casually can read Bobby Fischer Teaches Chess and learn about the double rook. End game, there's some stuff.
Caitlin used to coach children at chess.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so baby young children. So one of the jobs that I had when I was living in LA trying to pursue, the entertainment career was I worked for this company called Chess at 3, which teaches 3 to 5-year-olds how to play chess. But kids that young, they can't even say words like diagonally, things are still really, so we teach them how to play based with stories. So every piece would have a story.
That's
so it's
really cool.
The first king they learn is King Spassky, and he's scared of everything. So he tiptoes around and only moves one square at a time. And then they learn about the fat king who loves lots of snacks. And so he's so big, he can only move one step at a time. And then because they can't say diagonally with the bishops, they're oh, Bop only likes green things. Please keep Bop only on the green squares. And then B only likes white things. Keep him only. So things like that. But I remember what's a hilarious story with the chess books and the poker books in my family is I remember when I started playing poker in casinos in my early 20s, my dad went out and bought me some chess books. I think he bought me Mike Caro's book and then another basic hold'em no limit strategy book. And apparently he was going to give them to me for Christmas, but they stayed in his cabinets for almost a year because my mom was no, I don't want to encourage this. I don't want my daughter gambling. So she wouldn't let my dad. And my dad doesn't give presents, but
yeah.
Aww.
So yeah,
he probably wanted to play poker with you.
I mean, we already were at that point, but it's my mom was I mean, at this point, when you start playing in casinos and you win $200, Mom, oh my God, I lost $200, and you lose $5. Mom, my life's over. I lost $500. Yep. So I think she was just trying to help me at the time.
Understand.
Yeah, she's Caitlin, just please play tennis or hopscotch. We do not have to have these destructive gambling hobbies was how she saw it.
So did you start playing in cash games first or tournaments?
So yeah, cash games first because I guess like at friends' houses we play little sit and goes, and then when I went to college we'd have little sort of like sit and goes. They're kind of like a hybrid of cash and sit and go because you could rebuy.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just sort of ended at some point. People would cash out, but most of the time we just played till somebody had all the chips.
I love that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
we
it
used
was
to do that
kinda-
too.
yeah.
I feel like we're the same age, right?
I think so.
36?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
I just turned 37, but
All right. So you're like 5 months older than me then. Happy
what's
birthday.
it like being a younger generation?
I'm very young. I don't know if I can understand like you old people stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gen
I'm
Z
still
slay
learning
bag.
what Riz means, so
I feel like I made the cusp then because
nice.
I love how so many Gen Z kids will know what Riz means, but then you say charisma and they're like, what'd you say?
yeah.
I didn't even make that. Wow.
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
think
Joe.
about
37's hard, right?
Yeah, it's tough. I forget a lot of things these days. I'm not
Me
gonna lie.
too.
Yeah,
And I'm like, should I worry about this?
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Like keys, phone.
Yeah.
No idea
Or
where
just
anything is.
why you went downstairs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Done that. Or I've been staring at a wall for a while. I don't remember how I got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why were
It's
you
fun.
staring at? Did you figure it out?
Yeah, like sometimes it's because I went to the room to get something and then I had an idea for a sketch and then I just started thinking about that and then I totally forgot and I've just been staring at this wall for a while.
Yeah, I've totally done stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, now that you put it that way,
It's
that
like
makes
IRL buffering. You're just like,
Yeah. Steve calls it beach balling.
yes.
beach balling. That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, like the Mac that like
Yeah,
iMacs.
yeah.
Yeah, they,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just swirls forever.
And then he has to kind of push me a little bit and it like puts me back into like, oh yeah, I'm a person.
So when you first started playing poker, did you have immediate success that made you dive in head first, or was it a struggle at first?
Well, okay, so yeah, I when I play with my friends, or like kids in college, I was probably considered one of the better players of the group. And like at college, I think I just ran pretty hot too, but people always thought I was like the best guy in the game. And then I realized that casinos were 18 and up in California where I was going to school, so I went to Shumesh, which is yeah.
That's why you have an 805 number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in Thousand Oaks, but for some reason they gave me an 805 number. Anyways,
Yeah,
I went
it's
up to
still 805.
Is it?
Yeah, I think
Wow,
it's
that
805
spans
all the
really
way
far.
up to like Simi Valley
Okay, that
or
makes
down
sense.
to Simi Valley.
Yeah, because I was Simi Valley basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I go to the casino. First time I'm there, I sit down at like I think it was like a 1-3 game, but I bought in for like $100, and like the most I ever bought in for was like $20, and I get torched, and I'm just like, I'll never play poker. Like I'll just stick to my games I can beat.
That's
I'm
what
never
you were
gonna
talking
play
about.
the
It feels like
casino
a
again.
lot when you
Yeah.
lose your first $100. You're like, that's $100.
I could have gone to the Cheesecake Factory and ordered whatever I wanted.
Twice back then. But by the way, that never goes away. Like the feeling of losing X dollars being worse than like way worse than winning feels good.
Yeah.
Like at every stake, I feel like that's just something we have to deal with in poker, and it's hard to explain that to someone until you just like experience it for yourself or something.
What was your longest downswing?
I don't know, like probably like 6 to 9 months, I'd say. But I was playing a lot of live poker then, so it's a little different.
Yeah, because you can't get as much volume in.
Yeah.
Huh. And
Yeah.
that was cash or tournaments.
I think it
Or
was a bit of
both.
both. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if there weren't tournaments in there, like one time when I was on a downswing, if there weren't tournaments in there, it would have been a lot shorter. And another time, if there weren't cash games in there, it would have been, because sometimes it's a lot easier to go on a long downswing in tournaments, but you
Yeah.
can also like just have a cash game pop up that's way bigger than you normally play.
Yeah.
And then if you lose at that, you might just be stuck for a long time till you win it back at lower stakes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I know that's like not that unheard of to go on that long of a downswing. I just haven't gotten that far yet where like my longest now was like 3 or 4 months, and I thought that was just terrible, and I was like so sad about it.
Oh, it feels like
couldn't handle it.
every longer downswing is almost like a new stage of learning how bad things can go in poker.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
We love this game.
It's sometimes you got to sit down and just when you're really mad and be like, I love this game.
What are some of your coping mechanisms after a big loss? Because that is such a reality that it's like, oh, wow, I can celebrate a great win. But when the losses come around, they hurt more than the wins feel good. And why is
Yeah.
that? So how do you deal with the low points?
Ashley and my dogs have
Aw.
historically been. Ashley will literally. I remember specifically one time I bubbled, or like I was like 10 off the money at Bay 101 which is like it's like a $7,500 buy-in, so it's like on the higher end of buy-ins that I was playing, and it was like really close to the money, and I had a lot of chips before I bubbled, and I was pretty sad. And she just like pulled around, and she had brought the dogs from the Airbnb we were staying at in the car because she knew like they'd cheer me up. I was just like instantly happier. So generally, that's a really good thing.
So what about before you met Ashley? You just would cry?
I try not to think about life before Ashley.
You shouldn't. I shouldn't. Oh, that's so sweet. And also, you should never think about that.
Yeah.
So when did you guys meet?
We met 2011 in the summer.
Okay.
She was interning at a dance studio where I'm from, and my friend got her number and was going on a date with her.
Oh.
And then, yeah, they were going to the beach.
And then you swooped?
Sort of. Well, so it's a funny story. So she sees me. I happen to be giving him a ride at the beach because he didn't have a car. And she sees me in the car, and she's like, oh, I didn't realize another guy's coming. So she brought her friend. And we all hung out for like 12 hours that day and night. Like we went to like a party together and stuff. And at some point, I think Ashley and her friend kind of decided like we liked the other guy more. And they just like
that it was their decisions.
Yeah.
They were
oh yeah, like they
Did
just
the
sort of like
friends last for 12
subtly
years
let
too?
it be known, and we're guys, so we're like, okay, that sounds good, I guess. And then we just like, me and my friend thought they were like really cool, so we're like, we should hang out with them again. And then we just like basically the four of us hung out for like a month straight.
Oh my
every
gosh.
day. Yeah, it was really fun.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
So is he still with her?
No.
They didn't last 12 years?
Yeah,
That's a
after the
shame.
month they were done. But,
Oh, summer loving.
yeah, he's actually gone through like a bunch of other relationships and a marriage and stuff. So he's had
Wow.
his own adventures.
Yeah,
afterwards.
we are old. 2011 doesn't seem like that long ago, but
It was a long time
It was a
ago.
long time ago.
Yeah.
So when you met Ashley, she was dancing away. She was a dancer, and then you corrupted her life with poker, or how did
Yeah.
that all happen?
This is how you put it, basically. No. Actually, it's funny because so we end up after that month. She was going to go traveling through Spain backpacking. She had studied Spanish and dance at college, and for a graduation present, her mom gave her a ticket to Spain. She'd never been out of the country, and she was like, "You should come with me." And I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "What do you do for work that you could just say okay to that?" I was like, "Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out later." So like, she knew nothing about poker. So we travel for like 6 weeks, and then she's like, "What do you want to do now?" And I was like, "Well, you should come live with me in Las Vegas." She's like, "Okay." So she came to Vegas, and up until we got to Vegas, I didn't talk about poker at all because she wasn't into it, and my friends at home, for the most part, don't play at all. So, and then she gets to Vegas, and all we talk about is poker. And like you guys know, it's like a different language.
But
Yeah.
she had to have known that that's what you were doing, or were you truly like keeping it from her at that time? Because you were like,
No,
oh my God, this hot girl that is so perfect and beautiful and smart, and I don't want to ruin it, so I can't let her know I'm a gambler.
Maybe a little bit of that.
Okay.
But also, like, I mean, I mentioned it, but I don't think she asked me if I counted cards. So she knew nothing
Oh,
about
okay.
poker at all. So it was like,
Oh,
I think I
see.
might have even told her a little bit about it, but it wasn't like I was. And also, I had dated a girl previously that I tried to teach poker to, and we played heads up in an airport in Italy, I remember, and I won every hand because I was just getting better cards, and she just like started crying, and I was like, I'll never teach another person I'm dating poker ever again.
Oh.
So I had no plans to like teach Ashley poker or whatever, and plus she's like doing this very right-brained, creative thing, and that's awesome, and I didn't want to show her this like very analytical thing. And then she moves to Vegas, and we're all talking about poker, and she was like, I need to learn the game, or we need to break up because I have no idea what you're talking about, and this sucks. Like, I'm just sitting in these conversations.
Yeah.
So I teach her for fun. She's really smart and really competitive, so she starts like playing $5 sit and goes online to learn, and she gets good really quickly and is beating them for more than the job she had when she moved to the city. So
That's
she ended up
dope.
quitting her job. Yeah, it was really cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then she just joined you in poker. What's it like dating or not dating anymore, but like you went from dating to now fiance. What's it like having a partner in the same field? We just had Katie and Chris Mormon on yesterday, but I want to hear from another poker couple, you know, what that experience is like.
It's mostly really good because you understand each other more.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I feel like I sometimes take it too far with Ashley where like if you're dating someone who doesn't play poker, you just expect them not to understand when you've had a bad session or you take a bad beat or whatever to the extent that you understand it. And so you don't come home and tell them all your bad beats, right? when you're dating someone who does play poker, maybe you're a little more used to telling them your bad beats or whatever. And maybe nobody wants to hear anyone's bad beats, no matter how much they care about poker. So I feel like sometimes I take it too far with the whole like, oh, we both like poker thing.
Yeah. I feel like I hear a lot of guys talk at the table with like non-poker girlfriends, civilian girlfriends, if you will, and they'll talk about, oh, I just always tell my woman I like won a little bit. You never lose. You just always win a little bit. They leave you alone. You don't have to give them any of your juice. And like,
My secret is I lie.
Yeah, no, but I'm like, that must be so awful when you go home sad, and then she's like, you're in a bad mood and like slamming the cabinets, and she's like, what's wrong? Nothing. I won a little bit.
Yeah. Don't ask.
Yeah, that sounds like a relationship that's gonna last a long time.
I know.
My secret is secrets.
Yeah, I'd say it's mostly really awesome.
Do you guys ever have like, okay, so I come from like the YouTube comedy world, and I also am married to a guy that is a YouTuber comedian, and so I'm very used to someone working in the same field.
A wonderful man.
He is a
We
wonderful
love Steve.
man.
I like
He
Steve a
cooked us
lot.
breakfast this week. So we had our little like tiffs about how we thought a video should go, or like how a bit in a comedy thing should have gone. Like he wanted it to go this way, and I thought it was funnier if it went this way, and like we kind of like squabble about it. Do you guys ever squabble about like spots in poker that like maybe you're playing on a stream and Ashley's like, I wouldn't have played it like that, or vice versa?
No, never. We have a perfect relationship and we don't fight at all.
Ashley's staring at him.
No, that's
I'm just kidding.
inevitable. It's actually harder for us because I've taken on sort of like the coaching role,
Right.
and that's
That's
a
how we met.
dynamic that like you guys when you make I assume when you guys make videos together, you're kind of like equals in creative
Yeah.
like share or whatever. And when you're like doing like this coach student type of role, it's weird when you're also in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And so that was something that we struggled with for a long time. I think we're both pretty like thoughtful, smart people, so it wasn't like it was
Definitely.
super hard, but it was like that's a weird dynamic to have when you're also trying to have a dynamic where you're equals. And we actually at one point we're like, this is hard, and so we ended up hiring one of my friends essentially to coach Ashley for a while, and that was nice. But like eventually we just kind of like figured it out, and I think it's almost better once we figured it out because now we're able to have that kind of. And let's
the
be honest,
secret,
like
like-
Ashley's taught me plenty of things as well, so it's not like I'm always the coach in everything in life and she's the student or whatever.
Yeah.
Is the secret, you think, like compartmentalizing the two relationships is separate? Like, we're not going to blur the lines of, oh, I'm upset with you about something you did in our relationship, and that's completely separate to my role as your coach.
Yeah, maybe. I think we try to do that as much as possible. Obviously, we're all human beings, so
It's
things
hard.
carry over.
It's hard though, because like,
Yeah.
because you want. It's hard not to take a criticism as like your partner judging you, even though you know up here that it's like a different subject.
Yeah.
Like when Steve would break down why the structure of a joke that I wanted to put in the scene would work better a different way, and I didn't think so. Like it's like a personal almost argument because it's like a little creative baby.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine like if I'm in a spot and I'm justifying something, because that's what I was doing in the script, was like justifying why I would have the joke there. If I'm justifying like why I did that in the spot, and my partner's like, no, it's completely wrong, and you should never do that. I'm like, well, it's worse that you're saying it.
No, that's tough.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say like our thing is harder than your thing. I just meant it's
No,
like
no, not at
weird because
all.
it has this additional dynamic. But when you start talking about it like that, I can immediately understand like how hard that is to. It's just always hard to give criticism to a person that you spend most of your time like doing the opposite with, right? Like
Definitely.
you're trying to prop each other
especially
up in
when
life
you
and-
respect each other equally, like you were
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Like it's like the dynamic can shift sometimes, and and it's hard to take this hat off and put the other hat on.
I don't know if you had this happen, but I feel like I got better at coaching other people from working with Ashley because I got more insight into like what I shouldn't be doing because she's more like willing to tell me like from a student perspective, hey, like that, for instance, you should. I don't care if you're railing like somebody on the rail of someone.
Hey.
I realize you probably have some listeners who don't play a lot of poker, so I should probably make it clear what that means. Like when you're like, for instance, if you go to like somebody that you work with final table, right? And they play a hand poorly, like you wouldn't want to say right afterwards, oh, you played that hand poorly. You might want to give it some time because they know that they probably didn't play it the best or whatever. But when you're a little too in your head, a little too analytical, like sometimes you just want to get that right out there. And like, for instance, I've done that in the past with Ashley, and she's like, later on, she's like, that didn't make me feel great that you said it right. Like I know I did it wrong, and I'm already, and so it's like, I almost feel like it made me better at coaching in general just because she's able to be honest with the feedback to me.
That's definitely something I dealt with in a coaching relationship where it's like my coach wanted hand histories from live games and stuff, and I was like, okay, but if I send you a hand history and you tell me what a fucking dipshit I am, not like he talked to me like that or anything, but it's like, if you tell me I really misplayed the hand, like I'm still in game, I'm sitting in front of like a big stack right now, and like maybe this is better to do this later. So I totally agree.
I think I never try to review while somebody's actually playing because I feel like it just hurts their confidence a lot.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely wouldn't. I'd be super in my head if I texted a hand history and they're like, no, you fucked up. I'm like, I can't make decisions. I don't know how to make any decisions.
Yeah, because we're already sitting around doing enough of that on our own. Like, I screwed that last hand up. I'm the worst. And
like, was it variance or was it me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah.
I feel like before I started studying poker a lot, and I was more of like an instinctual field player, how like most of us start out in the game before you get serious and study it. It was a lot easier for me to deal with mistakes and to budget for them almost mentally, because it was like, oh, well, I know I'm going to make mistakes and we take swings in this game, but that it's like when you're studying the game, you're like, I know better. I knew better than to do this. And then it like becomes more of a spirally thing.
Does that ever go away?
Yeah.
Not in my experience. I feel like I have friends who are very at peace with a lot of their decisions, and that looks like a superpower that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like even after how far that you've gone.
Yeah, I think people have different personality types. I'm like kind of like, I'm not saying that other people aren't a perfectionist, but I'm a perfectionist in a way where I can't let mistakes go that might not actually be mistakes. They might just be bad variance or whatever. And other people just have like this I have some friends who me and my buddy Mike were talking about the other day. One of our friends telling us a hand history. He's like, of course I did this because of this, and that could never not be the thing. That was like his attitude towards it. Me and Mike were like, I could play poker for 1,000 years and never have that level of confidence. I'm always questioning myself and my decisions all the time. But it also, I think it keeps me really hungry to get better all the time, which is a good thing as well. So.
Yeah,
I do.
Because many times theoretical plays can be absolutely correct, like 100% of the time. But it's like if you're going up against Old Man Coffee, who's not folding any second pair, then it becomes a completely, punt.
Losing split.
So speaking of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's the big issue, right? Because like, I could just look at a simulation and say, okay, I was supposed to call the river, and be good with it if I wanted to be a completely GTO bot type of person. But like, I won't get, like, I'll be hard on myself and be like, no, but that guy wasn't bluffing, like you said, because he's an older dude with a coffee. Although I have been completely owned when those guys bluff me. I'm like every now and then they run the bluff. Yeah.
There's a guy
They're classy enough not to show.
I folded in a big spot the other night, and he showed the bluff, and he's like, "You didn't think I could bluff because I'm old." And I was like, "Fuck, I got called out."
Do you know, because you got into poker recently? Do you know about Phil Locke and the old man suit?
No, wait,
I heard about that.
Recent that happened recently, right?
Well, he did it like many years ago as well. At least.
Okay.
He put on like full on makeup to look like he was
you know
like
what it
7
was?
years
Is
old.
the runner this year? Did you hear about the poker.org runner, where you could, if you caught the runner, you would win the WPT package. It was
Yes, and he was like all over the
WPT.
city or whatever. And
and like he went to
all over the country. He went to like Florida and
he would only
Indiana.
show
Oh,
like
wow.
little pieces of locations that he was at, and he had to play cards in a poker room. Anyway, the point is he did the old man disguise in a poker room
Nice.
towards the end of
at
it.
the win when everybody
the
knew he was
win.
going to end there.
Oh, okay.
And he had to play there for an hour.
Oh, that was
or
smart.
whatever.
Man, he really was very smart about how he went
Yeah,
about the
shout out
whole
to
thing.
Slow Poker
Yeah.
and poker.org.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's the kind of stuff that I'm jealous of because I have a very left brain, and when people come up with ideas like that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
No, it's an exciting time in poker where everybody's like really diving into creativity and new ideas and
Yeah.
sort of
You guys certainly are.
Yeah, we're here. We are
leading
doing
the charge.
We're doing something.
Yeah, I
Thank
like
you for
it.
being part of it. But yeah, when we first started working together, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I met Jesse through coaching. When we were working together, you were talking about how like poker can be creative in some spots. Like when you like when the lines that you take are creative and
For
and so
sure.
that's like that actually clicks in my brain of like, oh, maybe that's why I really like this, because I enjoy the needling at the tables. I like live poker way more than online, and I enjoy the creative lines.
Well, you also, your background's in like essentially interactions with people, right? Like
Yeah, like
improv.
psychology.
Yeah, like all these things are very much interacting with other people and feeding off of like their energy and what they're doing. And it was cool that you want to do like work on MTTs with me, because MTTs are defined by, especially when you play like lower stakes, bigger field ones, these hands with people where you're like, I'll never see this person again. And so you can do things that are really exploitable because this is like the one hand we're going to play together. It's not like I got to be perfectly, if you think somebody's
Balanced.
capable of doing X, then you have to do Y. But if you think that they're just not bluffing enough, then you just don't have to. And so a lot of tournaments are kind of figuring out what people are capable of and what they're not capable of. And so that like made a lot of sense to me that you would do well at that, because you're good at figuring. And you also, I remember you telling me how like doing stand up made you learn like what a crowd's looking for and what they, you know what I mean? Like you
Like
you just
knowing your
got-
crowd.
Yeah, and so you learn to like figure out people at the table and like what they're all about. Like, is this guy's not really about bluffing, or like this guy's gonna have it when he puts it all in, because every time he watches somebody else bluff off his chips, he looks like that guy made the worst mistake that anyone's ever made in the world. So he's not gonna do it.
And 100%. And I think because both of us have in common that we like to be like a table captain presence at the table, where we're like dominating the conversation. We're sort of leading the vibes. But like, I don't know about you, but if I sit down at a table where more than 2/3 of the players have headphones in and are like watching a movie on their iPod, I'm not going to give them my best self. I'm not going to give them my energy and bring a party for them, because they're not communicating to me that they want that. But if I'm sitting at a table with someone that's like ordering a beer, making eye contact with me when I say welcome to the table, then it's like, now we can have a dance. Now we can have a give and take, and we can like actually connect and create a moment together.
No, I just like to invade people's spaces.
That's fun too. I do really enjoy making someone uncomfortable. Don't never underestimate that.
Yeah, no, but I agree with you though, like feeding off of that energy and stuff. Also, I find like, you know, in between hands is kind of the best move. This went into a whole like reading people thing, but like getting some info on how they interact when they're casual, when they're like not stressed about the hand, and seeing how they act when they are stressed about a hand, you can pick up a lot of energy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I try to talk to people in between hands, and it's like to get their relaxed vibes and see how much that changes. And if we're in a big spot, sometimes I can even use that if we've kind of like befriended each other. I can call them by their first name. I'd be like, Terry, are you bluffing me, Terry?
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah,
I can
definitely.
see like little changes in their face, and I'm like, okay, I don't think you're bluffing, Terry. And
Sometimes people literally look at you very honestly.
Yeah.
And be like, I would never bluff you or whatever. And you
especially
can
if
take
you've
it-
had a little bonding moment
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
It's interesting too, because have you ever read anything about body language?
I actually the most helpful book has been Zachary Elwood's nonverbal book of tells.
I actually haven't read that. I got to check that out.
It's really good.
Yeah,
Shout
he
out to
seems
Zachary
really
Elwood.
smart.
Yeah.
In general, yeah.
The one most people like is the verbal tells one. It's a lot bigger and a lot thicker. He went through tons of footage of like different hands at different MTTs and cash games and like types of things that people say and analyze them, and it's really, really well done. But I personally have found the nonverbal book to be more helpful in calling hero spots or making hero folds.
Cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
What were you gonna say about body language? Did you read a book?
Yeah, I've never. I've read a book, all right.
Did you read a book? What book did you read?
Wait, isn't that like a famous?
it better than
podcast?
my book?
Yeah. I've never read a poker body language book before.
Yeah.
I've always just talked to friends about tells that we have noticed or whatever. But I've read books on body language, and one thing that they say a lot is like women are generally much better at reading body language than men, and they think it goes back to the time when
Protection.
women raised the kid and the man went off to work, and it was like you have to understand what the kid needs before they're able to tell you. That was one of the theories for it, but like
That makes sense.
yeah, so it makes a lot of sense that you like what you just said about feeding, like learning their energy when they're chilling, and then
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I also find it easier to read men than women. It's not even sexist. It just, for me personally, and my theory on that is because women socially have to mask all the time, like from the time we're little till adults. Like there's a certain way you have to present yourself, and so we could be thinking something like we're talking to you, and that's why guys accuse women of misleading them all the time, because we're smiling to be nice and polite because we don't want to be called a bitch, but we really don't like you and aren't interested at all. But we're smiling, so you think that we're interested, and now you're confused by and so with women at the table, I think they're so much harder for me to play against than I can only go by bet sizing tells, or like as if I'm playing online. Like I can't really go off of their physical tells as much because they're so freaking good at hiding everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think part of that could be also that if you guys are better at reading tells, you're better at knowing when you're giving off tells and then immediately
and
masking them. Yeah.
For a lot of times for protection. It's like, I think this guy's crazy. I don't want him to follow me, but I don't want to piss him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I didn't understand that till Ashley said it to me one time, but she was like, yeah, there's a smile that women give when they're actually smiling. I guess this is obvious now, but like, and there's a smile that you give when you're supposed to smile.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I can read when other women are in those social situations.
Yeah,
Just not
yeah.
poker.
yeah, we're just living in this wonderful place where we're pretty much oblivious to all of this, and we just
Totally.
walk around and
What's that like?
yeah, it's great. It's good to be a man.
So you final tabled the WSOP main event, and then you went on MTV. I didn't know this till recently.
Oh yeah,
How was that experience?
that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they hit me up on like Facebook, right? This production company right after the final table, and they're like, "Hey, we want to do this
True Life
True Life episode," and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. That sounds awesome." I didn't know I'd never seen True Life at the time.
Yeah.
And we didn't really work with like MTV. We worked with like this production company that filmed some True Life episodes, and it was like basically 3 or 4 people that followed us around, and they were super cool. And it was just like a really fun experience because they were cool people, and everywhere I went, they would kind of like make it better. Like we were in Australia, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't baller enough." So then they call up the zoo and be like, "Hey, these guys want to come do the zoo," and then they're gonna do like a wine tour after, and like the zoo let us behind like into the cages to feed animals and stuff. And
You're like, I got to ride a tiger.
So
Yeah.
they were creating a narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's blowing his money at the zoo.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing. We legitimately watched that episode once, and I think we were both paying like half attention because we were worried about how it would come out.
Yeah, you
Because
should
of
be.
that,
Yeah,
exactly.
they
We were
do
like-
shit like that.
Yeah.
So my friends were on another episode of True Life that was like being a famous YouTuber or whatever,
Yeah.
and they hated their episode. They were like,
Really?
"That's not at all like what happened. They created these different narratives for us."
See, we were worried right away because we could tell what narratives they were pushing. Like we knew they
Yeah.
wanted a lot of drama, but I'm like fairly not dramatic.
You
yeah.
cannot see it being dramatic at all.
So like one thing I didn't want to deal with was I had taxes that I had to do, and they kept kind of like pushing on that idea because it was the one thing that I was kind of stressed out about dealing with.
Yeah. Like, how about those taxes, huh?
Yeah. So it's like, is this whole episode going to be like,
Let's get
just
him
me
wine
worried
drunk at
about
the zoo
money-related-
and then ask him
Yeah.
about taxes.
Yeah, we did. That was fun though, generally.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. The crew was really cool. So I feel like so much of that stuff is just based on who you get that's
Yeah.
actually filming and hanging out with you and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. You've been a self-proclaimed bankroll nit, actually, if I remember correctly. So I think they'd have a hard time getting that narrative from you.
Yeah, I was sick too because it was right after I won like 20 or 30x the amount of money that I had previously to that. So
Not bad.
yeah, no, it was awesome. But like I'm like way over adjusting because I'm like, all right, you should play conservative now.
Yeah.
And so
Like, don't blow it. Don't blow it. Don't blow it.
yeah. I think I got too fixated on the idea of, do you know like the whole lottery thing where
Yeah.
something like 70% of people who win the lottery go broke?
Totally.
So I got fixated on like not being that person. But realistically, if you're even like thinking about that, you're probably not going to be that person, right?
Yeah.
I think that's mostly
Pretty
people
good
are-
to keep in mind, though.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Were you able to enjoy that moment? Like, were you able to, or was it like, oh, I didn't win the first place, or?
Oh no, I enjoyed it so much.
Okay.
I really wanted to win, but first of all, the guy who won, I'm friends with, and he is like, especially at the time, he was like Mr. Poker. Like his friends all were great poker players.
You can say
and
his name.
Greg Merson.
There we go.
He just embodied poker. I played with him a lot at the Bellagio and different cash games, and so I was happy for him in a sense. And I won a lot of money and stuff. Like I wanted to be the world champion for sure, but it was probably the least anyone's been let down getting second place, which was weird because then I didn't win a tournament for like 4 years until I won WPT, and after like the third year of traveling around and playing a lot of tournaments, I was getting kind of frustrated or whatever. I was like, maybe I should have won that. You know?
What?
Yeah.
I deserve to win that.
Yeah.
So what you went and did some other investments. You founded an app,
Yeah.
Floptimal.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Okay, so Floptimal is an app or like a website, and it's like a navigation tool through the whole pre-flop spectrum. So you can put in like whatever the action was, and it'll tell you how you should play in theory.
And stack depths.
Yeah, any stack depth. It's a really, we have cash game information too, but it's a really good. I really like it for tournaments and like live tournaments, especially because, right after a hand you can look it up and see like what you should have done.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the better qualities that make it competitive with some of the brands in the space? For instance, like GTO Wizard or Hybrid Poker.
Yeah, so a lot of those they do everything. They do like post flop and they do heads up, sit and go. So it's a lot of information. And what's nice about ours is it's very much focused on like either 100 big blind cash games or tournaments, and it's pre-flop, and it's very, very easy to use. Like I always say, like my favorite thing about it is just the UI is great.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so it's really nice.
That's
in a
user
live
interface.
setting.
Yes.
User interface. Okay.
Yeah, it's really nice in a live setting because you can actually pull up an app and look at a spot in 2 seconds. Whereas I use some of the other apps; they're great,
Yeah.
and using on the phone is a huge pain in the ass. And I wouldn't do that. And I'm not like hating on. It's just because they have so much going on.
Yeah.
But it's also a really good tool because of that. So yeah, I just I'm really proud of the user interface that we built out, and I just think that it's really great, especially on the fly and on your phone and in these situations that you find yourself in a lot in poker, because we're not sitting on if we want to like review later, we could sit on our computer and do something, but I like when I'm on a bus ride and I can do some study on my phone for like 20 minutes. And
Yeah.
You
Definitely.
take the bus? Are you sure you didn't go broke?
So what's your favorite thing that you've done since winning so much at the WSOP? What's your favorite like either investment or thing that you've spent some money on since then?
That's a good question. Probably buying a house where I grew up was really cool. Yeah. I really, that was like where I'm from, like the price of real estate has gone crazy for like the last 30 years. And
Where are you from?
We kind of felt Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, yes.
Massachusetts. Yeah. And so we always, our generation kind of felt like the first generation that unless you like inherit a house from your parents, you may not be able to live where you grew up. And so doing that was really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I grew up in Santa Barbara. Very similar demographics, but yeah, like you basically.
No,
like,
it's kind of the same
grew up
thing,
there,
right? Santa Barbara's gone insane with real estate prices.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah.
My parents have like a 3-bedroom track home in the like under where the airplanes fly. Like it's loud, and it's like a 1,200 square foot like 3-bedroom place, like very standard, and it's like over $1 million.
Oh man, don't even get me started because I get emails every time a new house goes on the market on Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
And there are like 2-bedroom tear down pieces of crap that are going for like 800 grand, and it's just
Same.
it's frustrating
They
to
just
watch
want the
for
land.
sure. Yeah, basic, and the land is less than a quarter of an acre or whatever. And
Location.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense though. Like both of those places are, well, for my spot, it's like it's an island. There's only so much land. It's very like the scarcity's there. For you guys, it's near the water. The
Yeah.
weather's amazing. There's like cool like there's wine places. Like things actually grow out there. I kind of put a lot more value on things growing ever since we moved to Vegas. Like I love living here, but
True.
you
Yeah.
realize how important it is that things can survive.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Although I will say in this neighborhood, I've seen way more wildlife. We live in a weird part of Vegas where there's lakes and there's bunnies and
That's cool.
all kinds of different birds, like heron birds, like a lot
Really?
of water species birds. There's turtles. There's Canadian geese that lay their eggs here during the spring. Like they'll be walking around with their chicks soon. And like there's just like little chicks walking around everywhere.
No way.
Yeah. So it's no squirrels. I will say that I'm not used to that coming from California to Vegas, but
Yeah.
a lot more wildlife than I expected.
Yeah.
I was really scared of that. But when I go to other areas, it's very, very much the desert.
I would love to see when the Canadian geese came, for instance, or because none of those were natural here, right? So
Well, they
had
fly
to,
here for the winter.
Yeah, but they
'Cause-
were on their way to California probably, and they
Probably,
stopped here,
yeah.
and then they were just like, "This is pretty good." That's
Are
really-
baby geese called goslings? Am I remembering
Ryan
that
Goslings.
correctly?
That's what they're
Yeah,
called.
they're Ryan Goslings.
They're all called Ryan Goslings.
Okay.
And they're so cute.
I just wanted to check about that. Sorry to stop the interview.
So, Jesse, some concerning things have come up lately. I've been stopped by many a people who frequent the Bellagio, cash game players that I play with and friends, like people that are dear to me. And they've been asking if it's you that has been playing limit poker.
Yeah, it was me.
Okay, so is everything okay?
I don't know, man. I'm getting closer to 40.
Yeah,
Maybe this is like my race car
you having a
or
midlife.
my sports car.
Yeah, this is your
Yeah. I don't know.
This is your imported bride.
Yeah.
Is your Harley Davidson?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not getting on a Harley Davidson, so
Are you
I'm playing
like
limit hold'em.
are you giving away any possessions or?
Not yet.
Okay, that's
We'll
good.
see.
That's good. I
got-
have some voicemails from some of your concerned friends and family
'em out?
that yeah, I think you need to hear this cuz it's time.
Okay.
All right, here's the first one.
Hey Jesse, it's me, Chris Moorman.
Oh man, Chris Moorman. I like that guy.
We met back in 2011, I think. Anyway, then you got second in the main, and you were on a MTV talking about wanting to buy an island off Panama. And I thought, man, what a cool guy. And now, well, I just heard the news. Limit Hold'em? I never expected this. I guess it's a bad time to ask for that $20 you owe me for the Uber share in February. I've been meaning to bring it up, but you know what? It's all good. I got it. We're all here for you, buddy. Whatever you need. Get well soon, brother.
I mean, I tried to give him that $20, but he was being
It's okay. He says he doesn't
He
need
didn't
it.
need it anymore. He
Wow.
knows you're struggling.
Yeah.
okay.
I have another voicemail for you.
Hey Jesse, this is your fiance, Ashley Sleep.
Why did she say her first and last name like I don't know it?
Maybe she doesn't know you anymore.
I think she's scared.
I just want you to really think of our kids, Harvey and Saki. Lately, I've been telling them you were at the Spearmint Rhino as a cover because I haven't had the heart to tell them what their dad has actually been doing down on the strip at 10 a.m. playing limit poker. I feel awful about lying to them. Please come home. Please go back to analyzing ICMizer because I didn't sign up to marry a limit hold'em player. There's so much to live for.
There's so much to live for, Jesse.
I mean, I didn't realize this was such an issue in our family.
Yeah.
How many of these are there?
A few more.
Hey Jesse, it's me, Nikki Limo.
Okay, like I know all you guys don't have to say all your first and last names before this.
You're on mine and Caitlin's podcast right now. When we first started working together last year, you taught me things about no limit poker that blew my mind. Things like bet sizing. Well, how am I supposed to have my mind blown learning about limited sizings? I just can't. Please get better soon. I miss you.
Hey, Jesse. It's me, Caitlin Komeski. Nikki just talked about me in her note to you. You may remember. I haven't known you very long, but I really thought we connected when I asked you that question about winning second in the main like a few minutes ago. I was hoping that this friendship could last longer, but you know what you're doing could be considered a criminal offense in Texas. If we found out you were playing limit games, we would hang you by your heels in front of the lodge and throw empty Ultra cans at you. I just hope you heal soon.
I don't want you to get arrested.
I didn't know that's how they enforce things in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just min raising. I'm not like committing crimes here.
We also have another person that wanted to confront you about your issue. Yeah, you could come in now.
Come on in.
Yeah,
come on in.
Come on in.
Come on, it's a safe space.
Why is my mom here?
We brought your
We
mom.
brought your mother. And
We were
she,
really
She
concerned.
flew from Martha's Vineyard because she was
Yeah,
worried.
you can sit down,
Yeah.
please.
Hi, Mom.
Jesse, it's me, your mom.
Yeah, I know who you
I've
are.
been so proud of you over the years. Your career in poker has been such a blessing.
Thank you.
In the past, that is recent days, however, I've been hearing that you've fallen down a terrible path. A path no mother would want their son to travel down. They say you've been playing Limit Hold'em. I'm sorry, I can't even look you in the eye. You were raised to pursue your greatest passions with no bounds, and what you've been doing may seem innocent enough, but I lived enough to know that it all starts with limiting the size of the pot, and it ends with limiting the size of your dreams. I don't know much about poker, sweetheart, but there's one thing I'm fairly certain of, and can say with a great deal of confidence, is that Greg Merson is not playing Limited Hold'em today. I want my son back. Give me back my son.
I mean, I didn't play that much.
She was brave. Thank you, Marlene.
That was thank
That
you
was
for coming out
beautiful.
here.
Thank you.
When did you land?
We
We're
will
worried
fly.
about-
We'll fly you back out next week if he doesn't take the help.
Where have you been staying?
We have another person that
We have
also. Come on in.
Yeah, come on.
in.
Granny?
Are you familiar? Do you still recognize those that are close to you?
Yeah, she like lives at my house, man.
Okay.
We brought her here. We knew that.
Hey, Jesse. It's
Hi,
me.
Granny.
It's me, Granny. Ashley's
Yeah,
grandmother.
I still know who you are.
Okay. When I first heard that you were doing crack cocaine,
I'm not doing crack cocaine.
well, then I heard you were doing black tar heroin.
Oh God.
But I'm not.
Jess,
No, I'm not doing black tar heroin.
I hope you're getting clean needles.
what the heck are you doing then?
I played Limit Hold'em a few times.
It's worse. It's worse.
What the heck is Limit Hold'em?
It's like the game that we normally play, except you can only bet in certain increments. And so people are like, you know, a little more casual at the table, and the hands happen a lot faster.
Can you
That's
make a
it.
profit?
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you?
Not yet.
Ask you the real question.
I'm not yet.
Well, thank you all for being here today. No, huge thank you to
Thank you to Jesse's family.
to Jesse's family and Ashley's family for flying out to confront Jesse with his Limit Hold'em.
Granny, that was great.
Everybody go check out Jesse on Twitter and Instagram. Give him words of words of consolation, I guess.
And encouragement.
And
inspiration,
encouragement.
yeah.
Just let him know that he's got a lot to live for.
Thank you, because I was starting to get the feeling like people didn't like me anymore.
We love you. We want
We
you
love
back.
you.
Oh.
Not liking your actions is different from not liking you. And your actions of Limit Hold'em hurt our family.
They limit our love.
Thank you for making that more clear to me.
Yay!
Can I tell you something funny off the record?
Yeah.
Or it doesn't need to be off the record, but I have tried for months to find a limit pre-flop chart. And you like cannot find
They
them.
don't have them?
So like I think Floptimal's gonna have to do some limit hold'em or
Wow.
something. They're like it's basically a bunch of people. I think because like no one cares about the game anymore, and everyone who cares like just feel it out.
Yeah.
But like It's literally every chart for Limit Hold'em is like some guy being like, "Yeah, this is about the right range. Just raise like that," and he like clearly made it up on the fly. And I'm just like, dude, like we're in a day and age where everyone's competing over these.
That's probably out of the demographic that uses apps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
You found a need in the marketplace.
It's so much fun. People will literally be like, "I'm on tilt. There's a tilt raise." And then they'll raise it up from like under the gun, and then they'll show down like King 4 offsuit, and you're like, he wasn't lying. Like, why would he lie? It's Limit Hold'em.
Yeah.
You know.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I've never played Limit.
It's really fun. Everyone's just like talking trash in the hands, but I wouldn't recommend it.
It's really fun. I wouldn't recommend
It will
don't
ruin
do
your
it.
life. Okay, well, like, thanks for coming out.
Doesn't seem like your mom wanted to hug you.
Sickening.
Do you wash your hands after playing Limit?
No.
Aceholes with Nikki and Caitlin.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our latest episode. I hope you liked it. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to follow and ring the bell. Also, check out some of our other content.
We've got plenty of amazing guests, fun sketches, and games clipped up and ready for you to enjoy.